Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. This is Lorian and I'm back again today with a new message from the Lord. And in today's message is about obedience. And the title is Obedience is Personal. So God gave me revelations about this. First of all, what is obedience according to the Bible? Obedience according to the Bible is listening attentive to divine instruction and responding positively out of reverence for our Creator. That is how the Bible describes obedience. So, obedience is personal. That's what we are talking about today. How is obedience personal? First of all, what you need to know is God tells us to do different things. And our work is to follow whatever He is instructing us to do and not to follow what others are doing. So don't do what others are doing because obedience is personal. Rather do the will of God. Do what God is telling you to do, not what others are doing. For example, God might give you an idea and He also gives the other person that same idea. But He tells you to do different methods concerning that same idea. That doesn't mean that your method of doing it is wrong and the other person's method is right. No. It is the obedience that is personal that God wants you to follow. Let me give you an example. I've heard this so many times. There are some people that the Lord has instructed to wake up at 3 a.m. to pray. And some others think that because for them they don't wake up at 3 a.m. to pray, then the Lord does not listen to their prayers. My friend, that is wrong. It is wrong. Unless if God has instructed you to do so. But God listens to every prayer. There's a reason why God, gives us specific instructions, and He does this to see how obedient we are to His rules and instructions. That's why obedience is personal. So don't just follow what others are doing because for them they're waking up at 3 a.m. to pray, or the Lord wakes them up at 3 a.m. to pray. Then you also want to follow them and do the same thing. I'm not saying it's bad. No, it's not bad, but you need to understand that obedience is personal. It is personal. No one should lie to you that because you're not doing so, because you're not doing this, God is not answering you. No. Another example is about certain dress codes. There are some people whom the Lord has instructed them to dress a certain way. For example, I've heard of issues where some people say that the Lord told them not to wear pants, not to dress up in a certain way. So that doesn't mean that for them they are perfect and you are wrong because you're not dressing up like them. No, That is their obedience. They need to follow whatever the Lord has told them to do. And you wait for yours. Don't follow them unless if the Lord has told you to do so. Another example is fasting. Fasting times and days. There are some people whom the Lord instructs to fast for 3 days, others 2 days, others 7 days. It does not mean because others are fasting for longer hours or many days, for them they are special, or for them, they're exceptional. No. Obedience is personal. That is what the Lord wants them to do. And you just follow your path. Follow your own obedience. Don't look at others. The last example is God might give you an idea, and he also gives the other person the same idea, but he can tell you to do different methods but with the same ideas. That doesn't mean that your idea is wrong and the other person's idea is right. God just wants us to be obedient and do his will. That's why obedience is personal. Don't just follow the crowd. Ask God. Ask for the will of God. Ask God to give you confirmation. Don't follow people. Don't do what others are doing. Stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing your life to others. Follow the will of God for your life. And we see this in 1 John chapter 5, verse 14 to 15. It says, "And this is the confidence we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us." God is our confidence. When we ask things according to his will, he hears us. So always ask for the will of God in whatever situation he has instructed you to do. And obedience is really important in our lives because it unlocks doors of blessings in our lives. And we see this in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 19. It says, "If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good things of the land." You see? If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good things of the land. What are those good things? The blessings that God has prepared for those who are willing to be obedient. Another verse is in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22. It says, "It is better to obey the Lord than to offer sacrifices to him. It is better to listen to him than to offer the fat from rams." So this means obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience pleases the Lord more than sacrifices. And the last verse is in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 to 14. Let me read verse 1. It says, "If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all his commands, I'll give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on the earth." You see? God will set you above all the nations of the earth. And when you proceed from verse 2 to 14, you'll see all the blessings that come when you decide to obey the Lord. So, obedience is key in life and it is personal. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't follow the crowd. Don't follow what others are doing. So, guys, let me hope this message has blessed you. And let's meet next time. Bye-bye.